Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or my list and sideboard guides before tournaments, check out Patreon or the YouTube membership program. This channel is made possible by these amazing sponsors. Check out all their links in the video description below. Once again, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing some Legacy. This is clearly Death and Taxes, and it comes with a little bit of a story. I'm still recovering from losing my voice a few days ago, but I'm going to try to make it through this story. And of course, the rest of the video, I'll do my best. So, Old Greasy was a casual player, didn't know anything about Legacy, didn't know anything about tournaments, and had some friends bring him to a Legacy tournament. He loved the experience and wanted to do more, and the friend that brought him to the Legacy tournament decided he didn't want to play Magic anymore and gave him this Death and Taxes deck on his way out the door. Kind of got Old Greasy hooked on the experience and then was like, I'm out. So that left Old Greasy holding the bag, so to speak, on this Death and Taxes deck, knowing that he wanted to play more tournaments, knowing that he wanted to learn more about Legacy, but not having a friend to do it with anymore. And coming from a spot where his collection doesn't necessarily build multiple decks. So what do you do when you've been handed one of the most difficult to play decks in a complicated format, when you don't have anyone to support you in learning it? You reach out to BoshNRoll for coaching. That's what Old Greasy did. And it turns out that he's also local to me, and I actually know Shane, who is the person who this deck used to belong to. Shane was a member of the BoshNRoll Patreon for a while. I've played D&D with him. He has submitted decks to this channel in the past, and sad to hear that he's taking a big step away. But now we have Old Greasy still rocking the deck and interested in the format, and it is now tasked to me to play this deck and try to get a feel for it in the present day meta, so I can help Old Greasy learn it too. If you watch my content, you know I am pretty close to the opposite of a Death and Taxes player. I like Brainstorm, I like blue cards, I like Uro, and if I'm not doing that, I'm probably going the other direction and putting Dark Ritual in my deck. And this goes all the way into every permanent matters, mono white control. Shut down the decks that I love the most. Wasteland and Rishadan. I'm usually the one filling my deck with basics and Life from the Loam to play around these cards. I have played Death and Taxes a little bit in the past. This is, of course, a deck that requires you to know what else is going on in the format, because, do I play Spirit of the Labyrinth or Stoneforge Mystic or Thalia on turn 2 if I have the choice between the three? You need to know what your opponent's deck is and what they're planning on doing, and how you're going to stop it. This is a very difficult deck for a new player to pick up and play, and I hope I'm able to at least get us in the right direction of good decisions. I'm sure I won't play as perfectly as Thraven you would, or one of the Death and Taxes masters out there, but I certainly hope I would do better than someone who's never played the deck before. So let's find that sweet spot and represent the Shane Memorial Death and Taxes list for Old Greasy, and let's get into this thing. I'm on the play in round 1, and already faced with a decision that is challenging for me. Mother of Runes is a pretty good start. I've got some land drops I can make, but there's no Stoneforge, no Thalia, no prison element here, no way to tutor for it. I think I keep this. Again, the matchup will matter a lot, which I don't know yet. If Wasteland and Iganjo are good in this matchup, this hand's probably solid. If Mother of Runes matters in this matchup, probably solid. If I just died to Reanimator right now, probably not solid. Oh, Innocent Blood. Yikes. Okay, we're in some sort of weirdo zone. Recruiter the Guard, good hit though. With these non-cantrip decks, you do have to sort of trust them to provide. Bummer. Never mind. I'm not recruiting the Guard. Okay, they saw Wasteland and then ran out Castle Locthwain. That's good information. they didn't have a different land they could play, or at least not a non-basic. They might have a different non-basic that they're sandbagging, but I'm going to fire off the Wasteland. All right. Another Thoughtseize. Ancient Tomb. Thalia. All right. It's Thalia time. Okay, they didn't cast a spell or play a land. Hopefully we can just start attacking for 2 as they stop functioning, which is what Death and Taxes always wants to be doing. I'll pop Yorion in my hand. It's either Wish for Yorion or Hold Up Plow. I think I'd rather Wish for Yorion. Opponent's not doing anything. Let's try to keep it that way. In for 2. And I'm just going to cast my big bird here. It doesn't get any flicker value, but it does put them on a 2-turn clock instead of a 6-turn clock. And I didn't flicker Thalia because there would have been a window where maybe they could Dark Ritual out something or Edict my bigger creature, none of which are things I want to occur. Wow, alright. The Death and Taxes life. You just don't do anything for a while, get Thoughtseize 3 times, get a removal spell cast, and then you win. Good stuff. Okay, I'm against Black Stompy. I suspect Council's Judgment as generic answers to random BS is going to be relevant to me. I don't know what flavor of Black Stompy they are yet. Probably assume some number of Dothy Voidwalkers, Oppo agents, that sort of thing. Team Priest, probably not something I need for this matchup. Sanctum Prelate on 4 is probably pretty good. Make sure I don't get helmed out. Lion Sash, are they going to use the graveyard at all? Play is good, Stoneforge is good, Recruiter's always good, Flicker Wisp, Skyclave. The rest of these cards all look pretty good. I'm leaving in all my plows because Opposition Agent is a pretty serious problem for my deck. Alright, +2 Council's Judgment, -2 Hate Bears. Alright, pretty interested in this hand. Swamp, go. I'm just going to Plains Vial. Okay, they're just land going over there. Stoneforge Mystic, interesting. Now we have real Death and Taxes decisions to make. I can play my second Vial, invest in the future, play Thalia, try to slow them down. I could jam Stoneforge, but if they have Dark Ritual, Oppo, that's the massive blowout. I think I'm just going to Thalia. If I waited a turn, I could have, if I played Vial this turn, I could have next turn Vialed in Thalia and protected it with Caracas. We'll see if that ends up biting me. Mildred's Edict. Right. Or sacrifice Thalia. But that does clear the way for Wasteland Stoneforge Mystic. I could also recruit for something entirely else, but I'd rather Wasteland them, play another Vial, and I can plow an Oppo now. Do I want them to know about Stoneforge? And now that I can plow Oppo, I think I'm just going to pass here. Hope they don't have 2 of them. Thing Needle, okay. Activate Vial. And Stoneforge. They were going to name Vial. This might force them into a different direction to name Stoneforge instead. And I think I want Batterskull. It's just more castable if they do pivot onto naming Stoneforge. But maybe getting Cauldra forces them to name Stoneforge because they're going to die. And then I get to keep my Vials. Smallpox. Oh, yikes. All right, well, they were never going to name Stoneforge. They were a smallpox strategy. I think I can discard this Batterskull. Yeah, Batterskull. And do I want to keep Caracas? This might be a Wasteland deck. Just going to hope it's not. I continue putting counters on my Vials. It could matter. My next land is pretty good here, if it's still in play. Or if these 2 are still in play when I draw it. Oh no. Wasteland deck confirmed. I'm in trouble now. I'm going to bring the small Vial up to 2 and leave the big one on 3. I know more about their deck now. I was not expecting Smallpox at all. Saga. Okay. No more now. Liliana of the Veil, my god. Okay. Discard a Plow. I think I'm cool for this game. Some missing land drops. Saga's going to kill me real quick. Okay, I have more information now. What does it do for me? They are a Wasteland deck, or a Planeswalker deck, or a Saga deck. Itaki's War's Wage could mess with Saga stuff. I have all my answers to Pithing Needle in already. And Aether Vial is a insane counter to land destruction decks, but you do need to be able to activate it. Thalia seems good. I'm still worried about getting Oppo'd. Maybe I don't need to be. Like, spending 3 mana on a Hate Bear where your deck has Innocent Blood and Smallpox in it, maybe I don't need to worry about Oppo. At least not in the way that I was. So I'll bring in Kitaki, which might be risky because if I'm relying on Aether Vial and they kill all my lands, Kitaki will take myself out of the game. I don't have to cast it if I draw it. Oh. Well, I drew it and it is no lander. I'm going to mulligan. God, a 1-lander now? I can't keep this. Okay, here we go. I'm on 5 and I don't like it, but I do have a bunch of lands. Some removal stuff. I think I'm going to send one of the planes to the bottom and Council's Judgment. I can Vial and then start porting them and hope this Vial ticks up. Thoughtseize. Okay, that doesn't stop me from porting them. Took my Recruiter. I'm in the market for one of these frustrating how did I lose this Death and Taxes games where I just draw perfects all the time despite my opponent playing better cards than me on my mull to 5. That's what I want out of this game. I don't ask for much. Swamp Pass. Ticking up. Okay. Now I can remove a Pithing Needle with my Apparition. Just continue porting them. Org. To Turok with the shit. Okay, well, my hand's gone. Alright, time to draw just some nut 3-drop that wins me the game on its own. Cool. Keep on porting. And I have an option now. I could Flicker, Wisp, another land and just slow them down this turn. Okay. I will be able to attack Liliana here. They're going to plus. And I'm going to file in response. And if I flicker Liliana, she will die. Alright, yeah, that's what I want. She'll come back on 3 loyalty. You have to discard a card, and I don't. Lily will come back on 3 loyalty, or she dies to Flicker Wisp. I'll just keep drawing nut 3-drops off the top, as one does when they are Death and Taxes. And I think I'm just going to slam in here. Get probably Stoneforge Mystic. Or, no, I want Lauren. Lauren destroys Saga. Insulated against an Edict now. Alright, here we go. All in. There's Saga. Plague Engineer on human kills 2 of these 3 things. I'm in kind of a squeeze where Yorion is just sitting there, but Vial on 3 is so cracked. There's Caracas right after my Lauren dies. That would have been a nut draw if Lauren was still in play. I think porting this Urza Saga is more important than putting Yorion in my hand right now. This is a whole turn of constructs they can't get. Bummer. Alright, this one's going to name Elemental, and then we are in the shit. The mull to 5 really catching up with me here. If I just had 2 more cards to play with right now, things would be better. But they're not. It's not the world we live in. I think I have to leave Vial on 3. They're probably going to needle it this turn anyway. Sanctum Prelate. 3? 2? God. I think 3 we've seen Liliana, but 2 we've seen Smallpox. They haven't really had pause to cast Smallpox this game. I'm going to say 2. We've seen Sheoldred's Edict and Smallpox. They're not going to him to Turok me, but I've seen that one as well. Saga gets to do stuff. There's the Needle. And Innocent Blood, sure. They lose their construct, but they keep their block pieces. I will tick up Vial now and put Yorion in my hand. Okay, yeah, Cauldron complete. Someday. I'm just ticking up Vial in case I draw an answer to Needle. I want to be able to put a monster into play. Let's chilling with cards in their hand. I hate when opponents have cards in their hand. Okay, Flicker Wisp can die immediately while flickering something, so that doesn't help me. I'll just port them and hope I'm not dead. They are on a pretty quick, or they have me on a pretty quick clock here. Torpor Orb, that's reasonable. I'm already locked out of this game. Settle down, you maniac. Okay, casting Yorion Sky Nomad. Certainly they don't have a handful of edicts over there after they haven't played a land or really cast a spell in 3 turns. Wasteland was their draw for the turn. Shoulder Edict. I guess I take a draw step. I don't know what I'm even looking for. I can't Batterskull anymore. And it's certainly not basic planes. Okay. The mono black kill all creatures Torpor Orb deck got me real good. On a mull to 5 too. No surprise there. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the draw for round 2. My hand does stuff. I'm going to keep it. The Containment Priest is kind of awkward. This is a 1-of that's in the deck to tutor for matchups where you need it. But it also is a card I've boarded in my life many times against Death and Taxes. So kind of an awkward squeeze to just have it randomly as a creature in your hand. It shuts off Aether Vial, shuts off Flicker Wisp, and we're getting smeared by 8 cast. Cool, good start. I'll play a Plains and pass, I guess. And I don't think this hand is that bad if it has a Plow or a Caracas or Solitude, like something to check the Emery. But it doesn't have those things. Okay, they chaliced on 1 instead of activating Urza's Saga. That's actually great for me. My hand does not care that much about 1s. And if they bobble on my turn instead of their own, with any of these bobbles, I'm going to get them with Spirit of the Labyrinth. Yeah, please bobble in my upkeep, like multiple times. Nope, they're just leaving them all in play. That's somehow more terrifying. That makes me think they're holding Kappa. And Thalia is an interesting draw. It makes Emery a lot worse, especially after they missed a land drop. Its Spirit turns off these bobbles, or at least slows them down significantly. They can only bobble once every turn cycle, instead of as many times as they want. I'm going to go for Spirit. This also turns off all the 8 cast stuff. Like, if they're holding all these bobbles for Kappa, they're going to slam that in and get me. If they were holding it for Thought Monitor, I just ruin that party. Either Spellbomb, and they have Mox Opal for blue. They can temporarily clear my Spirit, but then they can't recast this because of their own Chalice. Bobbled me, then rebobbled. And they burnt off that colorless mana, no love there. I can recruit for Solitude, try to shut down the Emery. I think I want to attack before I do anything else. Let's at least make them take 3. They want to either Spellbomb this turn. If I play my creature first, then they can just Spellbomb and it doesn't matter. Recruiter of the Guard, get in there. Find Solitude, who's going to pitch. Do I want Solitude or do I want to get Loran going? I think I want to make this Emery stop. I'm going to grab Solitude. I'm going to cast it, pitching the Priest that I was not excited to see anyway. Get Emery out of here. They can bounce Spirit of the Lab, eat all their baubles, try to rebuild from there, or have a big Thought Monitor turn next turn. Okay, they did not bounce Spellbomb, which means they didn't get a draw off bauble they used in my upkeep. Oh no, they bobbled on their turn. Okay, yeah. No, they have received all of their draws that they thought they were going to get. But they did just tap out of blue. I have Umezawa's Jitte in my hand. I start with Jitte, try to get ahead of this Emery. For in there, I will sacrifice Recruiter of the Guard to the cause here. Then I think I just leave back Spirit. Because if Emery's going to die anyway, it would just line up that easy block to get 2 counters. -1 the Emery. Okay, let's stay chilling for a little bit here. Next turn I can Thalia plus port them. They don't have any lands. Baubles are looking sad. Ottawa, that's a real land. Lotus Petal. Emery number 3, okay. Turns out they were doing okay on Emery's. Okay, so Aether Vial's not helpful. Schadenport, get in. Thalia, get in. They can either Spellbomb this turn. I'm going to attack without equipping because I would like to replay Spirit if they bounce it in combat. Jitte can make Emery a 0/1 if they try to trade. And I'm just going to leave Jitte chilling for now, and their Chalice has caught up with me. Okay, there's the bounce. Step the Otawara. Any number of Thought Casts and Thought Monitors they've been sitting on can get unloaded this turn. And I gotta start grinding back in. Thought Cast still costs 1 even through Thalia. Lots of affinity over there. There's a Thought Monitor in the graveyard. Can't quite cast that one yet. I'm hoping Thalia is causing all sorts of invisible problems over there. And they are casting Thought Monitor. It's going to cost them their Lotus Petal and all their mana. But they do get it. It's in there, up to 6 cards in hand. They have made a land drop this turn. They can't cast zeros because of Thalia. They can't force either because of Thalia. I'm going to get to drop my Spirit next turn. I'd really like to draw a land so I can continue porting them while dropping all the things I need to put back into play. Cool. Ask and you shall receive. The Death and Taxes world. Equip Thalia. They Spirit. They know all my cards anyway. They've bobbled me every turn. I'm not hiding any information here. First strike creature busted. Do I want to push for damage or stack up counters? I think I want to stack up counters this turn. I'm going to kill Emery. Emery is dead, and I'll port the Urza Saga before it learns how to make constructs. This play pattern is so frustrating. I can just feel my opponent, like I have 8 cards in hand. How am I losing to a 2/1 first strike? I mean, they're not losing. They're doing fine, but considering how much more and cooler things they've done this game than me. But we've got a Kappa. That's the only thing that taps Chalice in the deck. Okay, this card will be difficult to defeat. 5/5 on arrival. Thalia only has 4 power with Jitte's help. And now it's a 6, so I can't even shove Spirit into it with the Jitte. Okay, now I need good things to happen to me. Wasteland's a pretty good thing. Wasteland the Urza Saga. Put Yorion in my hand. And now we chill and probably die in 3 big hits from this Kappa. I think I want to tap Otawara rather than Ancient Tomb. Like anything that hurts them helps me because I am planning to win this game in 2 and 3 point chunks. They're going to tap Ancient Tomb to do that. Cool. Seed of the Synod, which triggers Kappa. So cracked. Sigh. That's going to be a hard one to beat. Alright, I think they're over the hump here. Now every artifact they play grows Kappa twice. And they continue operating the entire game on perfect information with their plethora of baubles. 9 unblockable here. Field of Ruin. Is this a helpful card at all? Hope they know about it. I'm going to put it into play. I attack with Thalia. I can have a 4-power first striker that also is holding Jitte, so this attack is going to work. First strike plus Jitte is some bullshit. Yeah, that is the best block. Make that go away. And then if I activate, so I have 7, field effectively costs 2 because it replaces itself. That'll give me 5. I think I'd rather play Yorion and port them than get clever with field. Not even clever, it doesn't do anything. Again, 0 value to flicker with Yorion. Nice deck. Tap the Otawara again. Jite is good for 6 life if Kappa gets to 11 power this turn, which it's pretty close to. That's a 10. This pedal will put it to 12 with size help. Thought monitor. Okay, this puts it to 13. They don't get to draw cards, but it's another flying body on the board. So my plan at this point for the game is to draw Solitude and hope they don't have Force Blue card in their hand. Attacking for 14, I will make my life go to 15. I'm at 1. I have to draw Solitude. Can't have Force Blue card. I can pay for Kappa's Ward. Then they go to the gazillion life, and then I have to wade my way through Sai plus this board with Jite. And they know what I'm drawing. Guess, like, super technically speaking, if I Field of Ruin, that's 1 less non-Solitude card I can draw. 3. I guess I'll do it. Recruiter doesn't help anymore. Wait, did I just take myself off Recruiter for Solitude? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3. I did, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, by doing that, I gave myself more draw, or slightly better odds of drawing Solitude, but gave up on Recruiter for Solitude, because that would have been a 7 mana line with the Ward 4. All right, Peacekeeper is good. Kataki is good. Council's Judgment I'm interested in. They had 3 Emrys this game, but they're not that much of a graveyard deck. I don't know if I'm supposed to go all the way in on that. Thalia is good. Lion Sash is good. Priest doesn't do anything here. Like Plow. Lauren is one of the better ones. Prelate on 0 is pretty exciting. Timeless Dragon seems like kind of a clunker when I'm just trying to play cards. Spirit's great. Mother is probably fine, but also they have some colorless stuff and they're a Chalice deck that doesn't really play removal. I'm going to do it like this. Okay, I got an Aether Vial start on the play here. I'm going to rock with this. Vialing in Spirit is very exciting. Most of their card draw is sorcery speed, so you could get them real good. The Surprise Spirit. Ancient Tomb. Gotta love that play draw magic. On the draw, my hand is completely non-functional. On the play, this doesn't do anything. At least not yet. When I draw Plow later, it'll matter. But I can Vial in this Mother. That was going to be my play anyway. I don't think I'm going to play the Spirit. I do want to slide it in as a surprise. I can Flicker Wisp this Chalice too. Okay. Sai, Master Thopterist. Oh. I mean, that one's pretty annoying. We'll see how many Thopters come in this turn. At least 2. 3. Oh god, they could Kappa right now. They could Thought Monitor right now. They could do everything right now. Sai is just completely insane right now. They're bobbling me. End step, Violin the Mother. There she is. Their draw happens before my Vial ticks up, but it's the first draw anyway, so I can't snipe that off Spirit. Wasteland. Okay. How do I want to play this game? Wasting Seed of the Synod out from under them is pretty cool. Then they have to Lotus Petal for blue. Getting the Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I am going to Wasteland the Seed of the Synod out from under them. There's fewer artifacts, fewer blue sources. Those things appeal to me. Holding up Vial on 2, which represents Spirit. Saga is the punish for using my Wasteland. And they're pushing in the air. Oh god, they have Kappa? Come on. Ugh. Punished for not choosing Ancient Tomb, I guess. Put in the Spirit. We'll bring Vial up to 3. This gives me Flicker Wisp. Caracas can bounce Sai. That's kind of useful. Slows them down a little bit at least. I'll get that out of there. And I could Flicker Chalice now and lock out their zeros for the rest of the game. Or I could Flicker Saga on their upkeep and delay them a turn of Saga stuff. I'm gonna do that. Look at your Saga. And I can start blocking tokens with Flicker Wisp. They have Island, so they can replace Psy and go nuts here if they have more things to go nuts with. Okay, this is just buffing the Kappa, which is they're worth a lot here, but at least they're not drawing cards. Finally got a couple bodies on Spirit of the Labyrinth. Got some card draws. Oh wait, these Thopters are not blue, so I don't have good blocks actually. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not going to get Yorion into play before any of this matters. Guess if I draw like Umezawa's Jitte, gonna wish I still had Flicker Wisp in play. Ugh. Still take 9 and go to 8, and then I'm still dead to Kappa attacks. I'm not gonna block. Does that mean I have to leave File on 3 as well to maximize my big hits? I think so. I'm just not getting to Yorion this game, like it or not. I don't like it, by the way. And gotta hope to draw a banger right now. Field of Ruin's not it. They would have to not have any artifact for me to survive this turn. I'll kill Saga. That's a start. That takes the onboard artifact out of play. And I guess this is where we are. It's dead to any artifact. And even if they don't find an artifact, we're dead into to the Thopters. And there's an artifact. Okay. A Cannoneer. In all fairness, I was stopping their Saga stuff. I was stopping their card draw engine. I even could have stabilized against these Thopters with Yorion next turn. It was exactly Kappa Cannoneer, which is a card that 8cast has been playing less of lately. That won both games. And it's an absolute unit. And I didn't even have a removal spell to point at it, even if I could pay the ward for the 2 games. But outside of Kappa, it didn't look that bad. And obviously, soloed by this thing. But we did lock down. That's the thing, though. Like, you have to lock down all of their avenues. And we locked down 2 or 3 avenues, but they had this guy who marched straight down the other existing avenue for both of the games. Lesson learned. Kappa's tough. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting Commander events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 4-player Swiss-structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no downloads required. You can get access for just $5 at eminence.events/subscribe. I'm on the draw in round 3 with this abysmal triple Rishadan Field of Ruin hand. I'm gonna keep. I mean, it's abysmal play experience, not like the hand itself is abysmal. That will be determined by the matchup. If there's some sort of basic land deck, we're going to absolutely obliterate them with our triple ports. We'll see what this island does. If it's followed by basic planes, I think we're in business here. Oh yeah. Give me those sweet Jeskai tears. Schadenport, go. Porting the island. Got a brainstorm. That's about as good as that could go for them. Taking their shuffle. And missing a land drop, you don't say. Time for my villain arc to begin. I'm going to go after the blue. Porting the blue takes them off Ponder. Still brainstorm in the upkeep, but this is an ugly, potentially locked brainstorm. Give it to me, and then missing that land drop means that my second port's going to put them back down to 1 mana, even if they hit here. And if they don't hit, they just lose. Okay, they did hit. Staff of the Storyteller is a really good card here. Okay, but they ponder. That's fine. They did not shuffle. Second, Rishadan Port. And take them off blue. And there's a trick where if your opponent is floating mana, you can go to the draw step to tap the other land. Well, they have Snapcaster Mage, which is gonna get paid regardless here. Well, might as well make you do it before you get to draw for turn. Snapcaster is really good. They get to use all of their mana and put an object on the board. Planeswalker decks can't do that. And they missed their land drop, and they went to clean up. We are doing the thing here. At some point, I will put a creature into play, but I would like them to have no mana or anything to do in this game first. I got 20 life points to work with. I'm going to use them. Another Brainstorm. This will see one of the same cards that Brainstorm saw last turn. All right, let's go. They found another land. It would be a real shame if someone had a third Rishadan Port. Rishadan Port number 3, let's go. Are you having fun yet? Knock out all your blue and carry on with your turn, please. And they're going to clean up again. No land drop. This Field of Ruin. Next turn, I can actually play a creature onto the board. I expect it to get plowed basically immediately or forced or whatever, but once I'm at 8 mana and they're functionally playing on 1, I can take those exchanges. Oh, that's cheating. 5th land. Settle down over there. Baracus, and I'll drop a Spirit of the Labyrinth into play. Trying another 2-drop is exciting. When they inevitably plow this one, I'll be able to play another one. The plow undoes 1.5 turns of Snapcaster Beats as well. And I'll continue beating up the blue. Double blue unlocks a Narset. And they could get blue or white here. Off the Vista, but not both. Getting a crack. Island number 4 and a Sorcery Speed cantrip. We've had that one on lockdown for unknown amounts of time at this point. And they top the Preordain. I don't like that very much. Oh, Mother. Cool. That gives me something clean to do with Cycle my Dragon, Plains, play Mother, and I can still port 3 times. Another Plow. Surprise of nobody. So now they can have blue mana, even if I tap if I tap as many islands as I can, so I'm going to go after white and just try to constrict options. If I go after blue, then they need specifically a blue land to cast Narset, which they did have access to. Counterbalance. This is a card you have. Okay. Good to know. And they don't know their top card right now. A Mother. Oh, there's a lot of 1s in the deck, but I'm going to take a peek here. Getting a fetch in response. Okay, well, there's going to be a 1 on top. Oh, wait, I can Field of Ruin, so maybe there won't be. All right, I'm going to get weird here. I'll field you. This thing that I'm doing this turn does put down the port shield for a turn, but hopefully I can resolve a bunch of stuff and mess up their life in the meantime. Prismatic Vista is on top of their deck, so I have right now to do stuff. I could try to resolve Batterskull, or I could play Spirit and still port them twice. That sounds good. I could also play Flicker Wisp and port them once. I think I'm going to do that too. I flicker my own land. I would just like to get on this board. Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation. Okay, they finally found a card that was worth countering. Alright, so I don't get to flicker you, but here we go. I'm on the board, you're drawing a land. 3 cards in hand. Ending. Ended the Mother, left me with Spirit, I like that. Okay, bring back Timeless Dragon, which is not a spell, and I can still port them 3 times. Port the Plains, and then I'm going to port the Vista. They have so much mana at this point that messing with a fetch land is as good as anything else. It forces them to commit white now, and by committing white now, they don't have Prismatic Ending or Terminus this turn. And I'm not worried about their blue cards with Spirit in play, and their red cards are probably sideboard exclusive. This land. Tag with Timeless Dragon. Oh, they can hardcast Force right now. I'm gonna port an island in combat, so they can't hardcast Force on my Batterskull. 1, 2, 3, 5. I can Batterskull and still port all their white. Did not blind reveal Force of Will. Actual counterspell, sure. Guess I could have played around that and didn't. I know they're drawing Flooded Strand right now, so I will take this opportunity to slide a Flicker Wisp in and add to my flying clock. Target one of my lands. And comes back untapped. I'll port one of the white. I don't know if we're even in business here. If they have Supreme Verdict, it's going to work. As the Flooded Strand. And my follow-up is Cauldra. All right, Ponder just to look at your top 3 cards. Spirit of the Lab, let's go. Chose to shuffle, and there's the Flooded Strand. Probably looking for a YOLO Terminus here. Port number 4, you don't say. I could have shoved Cauldra this turn and tried to present lethal, but I don't think that's necessary. I'm going to Wasteland their Flooded Strand now, make them commit to the shuffle if they're going to do it, and then pass the turn with 4 Rishadan Ports. Take you off white before you can do anything. And I think I'm just going to let them draw from here. By leaving ports up, I can port a white source in the end step so they can't Brainstorm Flip Terminus on my turn. They do get 1 draw that would have facilitated that. Okay, that was a nasty, nasty little Rishadan Port game. Okay, we saw Snapcaster Mage and Counterbalance. And I could bring in Grafdigger's Cage just out of respect for Snapcaster, or I could let Lion Sash do its thing, or I could just ignore it like I did that game. I think I'm going to cut a Plow and a Containment Priest for 2 Council's Judgment and call it a day. So a thing that I have seen folks do before in Death and Texas is bring in Surgicals and take Swords to Plowshares or take Terminus, because the games are going to get really long, and that sort of long-term value does add up. I generally don't like doing the fair Surgical in blue decks, but I'm not a blue deck right now. If I go down to 1 Plow, I still have all my Solitudes, all my Flicker Wisps. All right, I'll try this Surgical thing. I don't know if this is right, but I've seen it done, and I'm going to try to broaden my horizons here. No mana disruption, but I do have an early Spirit. Okay, we're both just land going. Second Caracas, you love to see it. That's what happens when you play 4 copies of the legendary land in your deck. Brainstorm in response. That is the correct time to do that. We're in there with Spirit. Fully expect to see a Plow. It's still in there. You could Teferi it. Okay. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Right now I got a choice to make. I could Skyclave this Teferi, but I don't really like having a 3/3 lurking underneath an extremely fragile creature in a Swords to Plowshares matchup. I've blown out many Death and Taxes players by killing their Skyclave and then blocking with the creature that they gave me. A Prismatic Ending and Ponder. I mean, I still don't like this, but now that I don't have a different way to pressure Teferi, let's just start clearing material off the board. If they can Supreme Verdict at instant speed, or Days Undoing at instant speed, or Hull Breach me and I can't Solitude it, all of those are things they don't really want to engage with. Monastery Mentor, yikes. Well, they did pass the turn without a spell. I'd love to draw another white card so I could double Solitude this turn. Or I could just cast that one. The 1 Swords to Plowshares I left in my deck. Alright, let's take a poke. So they're killing my creature. They get a 1/1 and a 3/3 out of this deal. Yikes. They've updated the Monk token to the March of the Machines version. I'll grab Yorion now. I'm not going to pitch cast a Solitude to kill one of these tokens. I think if they had a counterspell or a Force of Will, they would have used it there. Oh god. Alright, or we're just getting blasted by actual blue-white miracles. This is why the mana disruption of Rishadan Port is so important. We saw Rishadan Port absolutely solo game 1, and now we're just dying to Haymakers in game 2. What are they worried about with this 2/2? What haste creature do I play? Aldra? Doesn't even work. That's weird. Just going to cast Solitude here and eat the 3/3 if I can. They're going to start burying me with Jace, but getting 3/3s on the board, or 3-power creatures on the board. Oh, Entreat the Angels. That's a good one. Flicker Wisp saved me. I get 3 Angels. Flicker Wisp eats one of them. They are getting rowdy with their 2/2, which I respect. Offering the trade for Solitude, 0 mana card for a 5 mana card is a good offer. Okay, Flicker Wisp, we'll start with you. One of these Angels. Mother of Runes, follow up with you. Not dead yet. And then Yorion can clear this board next turn. If I still have a next turn. Brainstorm with Jace. They're currently looking at 9 cards. It's down to 6. Seen Mystic Sanctuary. They didn't go for it this time. Back to basics. Okay. That only got one thing out from under me this time. Birds to Plowshares on my mom. I do also respect bringing in back to basics against Death and Taxes. It is a thing I've done a lot in the past. I'm here for it. Okay. YOLO, I guess. Here it is. We've been doing a lot of cantripping. It would not surprise me if they could answer this. But this Brainstorm in response is showing a little weakness. Sometimes you board out some number of forces in Death and Taxes, so they probably don't have all 4 anymore, if they have any. Right, Yorion's in there. Solitude and Flicker Wisp out. Played the untapped Caracas, which can save Yorion 1 time. And we're suddenly doing stuff. Solitude, one of the Angels, and Flicker, the other. And I have 3 creatures on board that can kill Jace. And if they just Terminus here, they're doing fine. So I will point out, they've had Jason play for, 4 or 5 turns now. They've mentored and entreated, and I'm ahead right now. Wow, bouncing Yorion. Fascinating. That means they're not going to Wrath. They are going to try to answer this board 1 for 1. Teferi HOD. Okay, that's a good one. I love this deck. This might literally be my deck from 2019. Except I never put Entreat the Angels in my Miracles decks. Other than that, these are all cards that I've played. And they did 1 for 1 the board. Took a bunch of Planeswalker activations to do it. Wasteland, not super helpful. But I am here for the Spirit of the Labyrinth. I'll have to remove this next. Probably, if they don't have another Plow in hand, they'd have to minus Jace to plus Teferi. Okay, that works. I think I'm losing this one. There are currently 2 wolves inside me. The one that makes me want to use every second on the clock because I know how much the clock matters in these matchups. And then there's the side of me that's like, this game's over. We should just go to the next one. In paper, I think I would concede. Make time for game 3, but with the Moto clock, kind of into being miserable. My next draw is Flicker Wisp. Snapcaster. Targeting Plow. My mother is gone. Jace continues to brainstorm. Fetch failed to find. 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 basic lands in the deck. That's worth knowing. Wander. To untap 2 lands, and then I'm drawing Flicker Wisp this turn. And I'll try to flicker this Monk token. I'm still holding Solitude, which can stabilize another thing. You get 1 more shot at Solitude this game. And then my basic lands can only cast 3s. But Flicker Wisp is a flying creature. They had the Plow. No problem. No surprise. They are drawing 5 cards a turn at this point. I do have Council's Judgments in here. Ship has kind of sailed on getting up to 5 basics and still winning this game that way. They just played Counterbalance. I think this is the turn I go for Solitude. I'm going to wait until they activate Jace. So they plus Teferi. I don't want them to just be able to bounce Solitude. This is my move. They probably have dozens of counterspells in their hand. Literally thousands. Brainstorm can put Force on top, and then that counters Solitude. Yep. Okay, that happened. And as much as I would like to concede, I just answer this Snapcaster Mage, still doing it. I'm going to test with Aether Vial. Good chance they floated a 1 on top. Alright, cool. Vial resolved. I'm going to go for Mother. Hard cast Force of Will. They have 7 or 6 mana up. What are they doing here? Just don't even want the cards. Pitching Vendilion Click. Alright, I respect that. Vendilion Click is really good against all my searching effects. It's also really good against Aether Vial. You can activate Vial and you get clicked. And then the card you wanted to Vial in isn't there. And they're going for a big flurry of Mystic Sanctuary into Brainstorm into Entreat the Angels, which does put lethal on the board. It would be a shame if we played this long not to let them take their lethal swing. So I'll let them attack. 8 minutes on their clock to just under 15 on mine. The other win condition. Okay, so Mystic Sanctuary, Snapcaster Mage, and recurring graveyard miracle stuff. I have the Surgicals in, which is, you know, the thing that would help me with that if anything's going to. We've seen Mentor now, slightly distressing, with only 1 plow in that I happened to draw when they had Mentor. I have cheesed out enough Death and Taxes players to know that the Mentor juke is very real. But the cards I'm looking at moving around are like turning Solitude back into Plow, which is the same number of removal spells. And if this game goes infinite again, I kind of like having the 3-2 body for later. I don't think I'm changing anything here. Right back in. I would like a better start though, like a Vial or a Port, 2 Vials and a Stoneforge. That's the sort of thing I want. And now that I know they have multiple back to basics in their deck, I can prioritize my lands in a way that respects that. I'm all to 6. I've got a Vial. That doesn't cast Prismatic Ending. Schadenport. Oh, baby. I think I will save that until both Vials are rockin'. 3 is when stuff really starts to pop out of their deck. If they have their Mountain Meltdown right now, I deserve to lose, I guess. And I am going to do a cheeky little Vial on 1 in the end step. You don't have to put a creature in. I just want them, now that I know they have Vendilion Click, I want to activate Vial in a way that doesn't necessarily tell them that I have something. Scalding Tarn also does not fetch basic planes, so they are exposed in a way that I'm sure they're not happy about right now. I am going to tap their island though. I'm going to activate Vial on 1 first. Then I'll activate Vial on 2. And I'm going to make them start doing something. Better answer the Stoneforge, or I'm Caldraing you. Just going right for the throat on that too. Go up to 2 and 3, the good numbers. Wasteland, what's up? Okay, I could Sanctum Prelate 1 and then just shove. That is bad against Terminus. I'm doing this. I'm going to Sanctum Prelate on 1. Sanctum Prelate on 1 is here. And Wasteland, activate Stoneforge, get Cauldron going. Attack. Hope I don't get Terminus. I could have saved the Sanctum Prelate. In response to a miracle trigger, you can Sanctum Prelate, and then they can't cast the spell that costs that. Alright, we didn't stop in their draw step. That's good news. Okay, do I just shove all the way in here and add Lion Sash to the board? I leave something in the tank. 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't change the clock. Just gonna hold. Gonna no to both of those. I'm gonna waste the Valk right now before we even get into my turn and start doing stuff. They could play Snapcaster Mage. If I port now, they can't do that. If I just attack with Stoneforge and Cauldron, I don't care if they do. That's what I'm doing. Okay, yep, that's fine. Protected the Prelate. Now Lion Sash is good for a bunch of +1s. Yeah, maybe I actually should have put that in. I didn't account for the Wasteland in the end step. It would have been a bunch extra damage. Now I can port the planes, take them off most of their outs. Vendilion Click. That resolves. So you're going to target me. Targeting yourself with Vendilion Click. That makes sense. Terminus sent to the bottom. This looks really good. I don't know how they get out of this. And they didn't. Cool. Alright, picked apart blue-white control, which unfortunately I've played the other side enough of to know what matters and what doesn't. And that knowledge paid me out here. We're on the board. Let's go. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play in round 4, 1 Wasteland and no Vial. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, here we go. This is one of these hateful hands. I'm going to keep, and it's either Port or Wasteland, I think. I'll send Port. I don't know the matchup yet. There is probably a right answer between those two. I just don't currently have it. I'm just going to Wasteland go. One of the things about Wasteland and Rishadan Port is that when people play around Wasteland, they play into Rishadan Port and vice versa. And by just face-upping a Wasteland, I might get them good with Rishadan Port. Or maybe they'll just Dark Ritual Doomsday kill me. We'll find out soon. Thoughtseize is the play. Almost certainly losing Spirit of the Labyrinth here. Unless they're worried about a longer game where a Recruiter matters. Wow, okay. That's scary. My opponent said, I'm not going to draw cards. I could give them perfect information and play around Wasteland. Yeah, I'm not worried about information, which is a weird thing to say, but I'd rather just sequence my cards correctly rather than get too clever. And I could have ported them on this turn, but I think getting on board before I start doing the port stuff. Oh, or we're just dying to Storm right now. Nope, Dothy Voidwalker. I don't know what's going on. Black Stompy. They saw the Flicker Wisp and played Chrome Mox into it. See if I'm dead here somehow. Dark Ritual, Dothy Voidwalker, and Helm of Obedience. My goodness. Yeah, that's going to be hard to beat. And it's not going to happen like that. So basically what I need to do here is they have to attack with their Dothy into my Iganjo. I can't Wasteland them off of this. I'll play Port and just pretend I'm still playing this game. Maybe they'll respect Swords to Plowshares enough to slow their roll. The Recruiter makes sense now. I could have recruited for Solitude and stopped the combo. Problem here is they can just combo off in response. No, whatever. I don't have another play. I'm ready to concede. They're activating in the way they're supposed to. Okay. I'm defeated. All right, yeah. That took a quick turn. Council's Judgment come in Path to Exile would have stabilized that game if they're on Dothy, if they're on Leyline. All my cards for that are already in. Relate on 4 is a thing in the matchup. Jitte is removal. It's Timeless Dragon. Sideboarding is so weird with this deck. No Spirit. They don't really care about Spirit. Maybe I should just cut 3 of those. Don't think I want Mind Break Traps. They could just go slow and tap 4 mana for a Helm and then kill me on the following turn. The fact that they went Chrome Mox, Dark Ritual, Dothy, Helm all at once this game doesn't mean that's ever going to happen again. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Oh no, the 1-lander with Thalia, but it does have Vial. I'm gonna rock it. Okay, Vial, and I would like to draw land next turn. I don't need it, but I want it. Come on, land off the top. Land off the top. Shit, shit, shit. It's okay. They didn't kill my Vial last turn. Hope they don't do it this turn. Cavern on Shadow Creature. Rogue. Yeah, Dothy Voidwalker is a rogue. And I have the out to it this time. That's gone. right on curve. Cheeky little no creature off Vial. And I'm gonna Thalia heads up, and then I have Priest. I can Vial in, but Priest turns off Vial subsequently. I should probably have boarded that out. I am not going to put Priest into play. Probably. Opposition Agent is also a rogue. And there we are. I'm going to activate and then say no. So I can cast Priest if I just need more bodies in play in the future. I'm going to cast Skyclave. I can violin the other one. It's adding to the board here, doing stuff. They are at 21 with 6 cards in their hand. Ancient Tomb. Uh-oh. We've done... Oh, I do have Thalia. I was about to say I've done nothing to disrupt their mana, but that's not true. Thalia does stuff. They line up the Void on the cast. And I think I just eat this with Skyclave and try to beat down. If they have a Toxic Deluge or something, they're going to have 7 power in play, and I'm sitting on my hands. I am going to tick Vial up, move my way towards Yorion. My job is to get this game over, because any stability I have is tenuous at best. Priest also Nombo with Yorion. I'm boarding that out if we get a game 3 here. 2 Ancient Tombs. That helps my cause here. There's the Helm. Could just die right now. Oh wait, no I can't. I can Yorion and eat the Helm. Okay, yeah, I can attack for 6. Then Yorion here. I can't cast Batter Skull, or I can because I can eat my Thalia. Alright, yeah, let's go. Yes, put in Yorion. Exile Thalia and the Skyclave that has Oppo under it. We get a 3/3. I get to cast Batter Skull while Thalia is sleeping. And then Thalia comes back and Skyclave eats the Helm. And it's not even free to just activate it for 2. Looks like they're going to do it, but that puts them to 3. Did they get a creature? They got a Recruiter the Guard. Sure. This can get Dothy. They failed to find. Okay, and they conceded. Cool. All right, we did it. Gotta answer their stupid permanents and we can win. Now I'm on the draw. I'm really not interested in Mindbreak Trap. I am extremely disinterested in Containment Priest. Whoops. 3/1, no abilities. Little Blade of the Six Pride here would have been better than Containment Priest in that game by a lot. Maybe Kataki is better than both. I mean, I have artifacts, but so do they. It's possible that they have an Urza Saga juke. That's a thing that happens sometimes. Alright, maybe I'll take a Spirit back out and have Kataki in. Let's go. Alright, Vial, Plow, Prelate are all cards I'm happy with. I do love all the F6 value I'm getting in this league. I just get to pass priority all the time when it's not my turn. I have the Thoughtseize. What are you worried about? With the Vial, that's fair. Shot and Port. Don't hate that. They Dothy this turn, they're doing it straight into a Plow that they know about. If they don't add to their board this turn, oh wow, they saw the Wasteland and still played that card. It's tempting to just shove that. But if they Dark Ritual Oppo, I'm not feeling good about that. I'm going to waste while I can waste. They saw my hand, saw it had Wasteland, and still played Aghanim. I'm going to take that as a sign of weakness. Okay. They saw the Plow and still played Dothy. Maybe they just don't have another way to work through this stuff. And right now, shields are down. Stoneforge for Cauldra. Going all the way in as hard as I can. Cavern. Into a face-up Wasteland again. Wasteland your Cavern. Float a Rogue damage. Or Rogue. Anna. I'm going to try to pass into combat, but it looks like they actually do have a Rogue. I can put Cauldra in at start of combat and still attack with it and declare attackers. Stoneforge has me insulated against an Edict. Opponent's at 16. I can prelate on 4 next turn, and then their win conditions don't work anymore. They kind of telegraphed Oppo, but they didn't actually play it. I'll just shove Stoneforge Mystic in. It does change the clock if it connects, and it flushes out their play if it doesn't. Yeah, that's fine. I was not going to be flickering this opposition or this Stoneforge anyway. And Relate on 4. That turns off Leyline and Helm. And this is the turn they got to 4 mana. Oppo's attacking. If they earwig me, I'm genuinely excited for them. Of Ruin. And I think leaving Prelate back is better than attacking in with it. Because Flicker Wisp will make this a 1-turn clock anyway, and now I'm not risking any outcome by like losing Sanctum Prelate in combat. And I'm going to port them, and this will, it's just about the end of the game here, one way or the other. They're either going to wrath me or they're going to die. And we got the GGs. Nice. They had one of the most explosive draws they're capable of in game 1 that got through me, but once I knew what was going on, was able to just squeeze them enough. And from 0-2, we rise like the Phoenix to 2-2, and we're playing for a positive record. Let's go do this last round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in the final round. I'm going to keep this one. It's not blazing out with a 1-drop. It does do port stuff. And then I could start tutoring and flickering later on. I haven't mentioned it yet, but the snow planes and planes are split because of cards like Predict, which is actually seeing play right now. So it is an aesthetic nightmare, but it is kind of relevant. Oh, good. And our third Dark Ritual match of the league. Oh, Dark Ritual into Black Market Connections. Let's go. That's not what I thought was going to happen, but I'm here for it. I'm going to Rashad and Port and probably apparate their connections next turn. I imagine they'll go all the way in on this and just pay this 6 and get the creature, the card, and the treasure. Oh yeah, there it is. Big money. They've got a City of Traders here. That's 4 mana next turn. 5 if I don't kill the connections. They're doing something though. Black Market Connections is one of these stupid cards that's EDH only. And it costs $22 in paper. And it came out of a precon that you could get for $25 with 99 other cards. It looks like we're just getting triple Dark Ritual helmed here though. Oh, grief. Okay, that's not as bad as Helm. So whatever they take does end up in the void. Good chance they take Swords to Plowshares, though Apparition's also pretty good. Lots of good targets here. It's probably Apparition would be my guess. Is taking the connections, unless they actually are holding Helm in their hand and they just used Grief. Okay, they did take Apparition, which is in the void, in case that matters for later. Okay, should I try to kill this opponent with Flicker Wisp or hold up interaction so I don't die to Helm? I'm going to Flicker Wisp. I'm going to kill the Shapeshifter, and this gives me something on board, and then starting next turn, I can turtle up with Plow and Port when I'm actually pushing for damage. This, just having something in play makes it so they can't fearlessly pay 6 every turn into Black Market Connections. If I'm dead, I'm dead. It's whatever. But I think this is the overall better play, because they could have killed me last turn. They had 5. If they had if they had Helm in their hand, it was available. Oh, not Seer. What the shit? This deck is crazy. They paid for the creature and the treasure this turn. What just happened? And I'm losing this race. They have 6 this turn, puts me to 14. 6, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm at 1. Lion Sash is something that I can put into play while still porting them. Is that how this game is going to go, though? And if they attack with everything, that's a real cost. And I have a blocker now. I'm going to port the City of Traders. Solitude off the top is a nutter. They could also attack with everything except Dothy Voidwalker, and then use my Skyclave Apparition to make sure Flickerwist doesn't kill them next turn. I don't know that they're worried about that. They have plenty of material on this board. They made a treasure and a creature. They did not draw an extra card. Or wait, yeah, treasure creature. So they're not worried. They went to 3, which makes me think they're either comboing me out right now, or they do plan to use Skyclave. Yep, they are void walking. Yeah, if they kill my flyer, I don't know how they could ever lose this game. And there's the apparition. And I assume Solitude is involved. But even that seems unlikely to stabilize. Taking me for 10 before this turn. I can attack back with a 2-2. It's not very good. But Raw Dog Solitude is pretty solid. Or maybe they'll misclick and make a creature next turn and just die to their connections. That would be cool. That's the out I'm playing too. Arrakis is not it. This, in fact, does not do anything that I need it to. I don't have a wasteland, so I can't, like, put 3 permanents in the graveyard somehow for Sash. All right, they got me. I'm not going to play to the out of them making a creature next turn. Turn 1 Black Market Connections, that's cool. And we appear to be a Black Helm Stompy Eldrazi deck. Is this a Peacekeeper matchup? It might be. Game of Priest once again. Not a card I'm interested in. Council's Judgment, once again, a card I'm interested in. At the Exile actually seems fine here. Plows are good. Mother. I don't know how much removal they're going to have. We saw unblockable creatures, colorless creatures, and combo kill. Maybe Mother is just not where I want to be here. Going in. Okay, this hand kind of sucks. It doesn't do anything quickly. I like the Solitude. I hate the Cauldra. An Apparition is fine. I don't know how hard you're supposed to mulligan these lands and spells hands that do anything. This would be a real... This is one of the first, like, real big test moments of a Death and Taxes expert would probably have done something wildly different than me. A Death and Taxes expert would have drawn Thalia there, or Stoneforge Mystic, and I did not. So I blew it. I even have the Solitude to cover a Dark Ritual Oppo. Not even worried about it. Got it. I would like to hang out on this Solitude long enough to hardcast it if my opponent allows that to occur. In Urborg, that doesn't really help me at all. Dark Ritual, annoying. And there's Leyline. I will be apparitioning that. And I'm still going to be patient on this Oppo. Or if I draw a 2-drop, I might Wasteland instead of Apparition. Okay, I think I'm going to save the Wasteland and just Apparition the Leyline now. Drawing Path instead of Plow there was just perfect karmic justice. I had a brief second of, oh, I can waste and kill the creature, but then it undoes the Wasteland. Drowsy Temple, pain in my ass. Now I wish I had Wastelanded. That one's not bad. It's not Thought Not Seer. We're cool. We're chilling. Human in the blind. I mean, I have all the information here, so I'm not going to be too harsh. But the humans generally cost 1 and 2, and I haven't done any of that for the whole game. So I wonder if you're just supposed to blind name Elemental, because we're in the Flickerless phase of the game now. I think I want to take out Urborg more than I want to take out Temple. They could have cast Thought Not last turn and just didn't. And if I flicker now... Yeah, they didn't name Elemental, so I'm going for it. I guess I could have attacked and then threatened to flicker the 4/4 and just gotten a trade on this board. Maybe that's better than holding up Path to Exile. Yeah, I think I should have done that, actually. Dark Ritual, another one. Another 3 Dark Ritual game. The good news is if I get through this, we're doing a good job. Oh god. My reality. Target of a spell. Okay, so the ward only triggers on spells, not abilities. So I could Solitude this thing, pitching the Path. I could also just double block it, and then they get a 4/4. Don't think I'm getting to Solitude. Anything else? Alright. I will Solitude this thing. And then I'm going to turtle up behind my flying creature and Rashadan Port. I'd love to draw Oh, no, not Thalia. I was about to say I'd love to draw Thalia, but that's blatantly untrue in the face of Plague Engineer. In for 3. Yeah, I'm very much wishing that I had presented an attack last turn and gotten this 4/4 out of the mix. And I think porting Swamp is better than holding up by Ganjo. Because hitting my land drops gives me Yorion eventually. Okay, they still like Plague Engineer too much to attack with it, even if it unlocks a 4/4 creature. That's mildly concerning to me. Plains is dope. I'm going to put Yorion in my hand and port them. That's what this turn is going to look like. Still not super worried about Ganjo. Thought-Knot Seer is a great draw, but they've had 2 opportunities to cast it this game. They don't have it. Ancient Tomb represents Reality Smasher, but they would have done that already. And now I can get this block on because I'm going to flicker Wisp with Yorion next turn and clear the 4/4. Let's just start removing material. I guess if I flickered the other creature, the apparition, I could have removed 2 things. So maybe I fucked that up. Attack with Wisp. Oh, I also just have a 4/5, which is bigger than a 4/4. Can I ignore this? Guild. Yorion, Flicker, Wisp. Yeah, I should have left my apparition around. I messed up this turn. And Dothy and Leyline both cost double black, which they can't have off a single card. Yeah, I think this is safe to do, because Dark Ritual would require 2 cards. And now they have double black. Now I have to start porting them. But I am winning the race by a lot. I don't care about that. They could just activate Helm and try to steal a creature from me. That is an option available. Spirit of the Lab. Jamming Cauldra leaves me dead to a top deck Void effect and doesn't kill my opponent, so I'm not doing that. Okay, they are just going to take a little look here, see what they can steal from my deck. There are some good hits. Mother of Runes, probably not one of them. Now I don't have to care about most things. So Spirit of the Lab. Is it time to Field of Ruin? Do I care about that? They're dead on the board. I'm just going to play my Spirit and port them. I can still Ganjo because I do control a legend. I have 1 draw step here. And they're dead. Cool. All right. Got over the hump on that one. Now we got to win a game on the draw. Now we've seen Reality Smasher on top of the Thought-Knot Seer. So it's not just a light Eldrazi package. It's a real Eldrazi top end. I don't think that changes anything that I've got set up here. If they're going to draw 3 Dark Rituals every game, maybe I should bring in my traps. But really, they only need 1. I think this is just my deck going back in. I do love that I boarded out all but 1 Mother of Runes, and that's the creature they hit off their helm. It's easily the worst creature in my deck. And a 1-of. I'm kind of into this hand. Turn 2 Stoneforge, and I have the Solitude that can fight Oppo. This hand kind of sucks against Thoughtseize, but it's fine. A white source lets me interact. Once again, we have the 1-of Path to Exile rather than any of the 4 plows. But I'm doing it. Razi Temple, Chrome Mox. Okay. Exiled Black Market Connections. Oh, we're going to 4-for-1 ourselves here to turn 1 Thought-Knot. Oh, yeah, we are. Okay, and I have 3 ways to kill a Thought-Knot, so I'm just going to let this resolve. That's a crazy all-in. Like, I would rather cast Black Market Connections or Grief, but maybe it specifically didn't line up that way because this is Temple, it's not Ancient Tomb, and maybe they're out of black cards over there. Took my Path to Exile, sure. I'm going to draw before I do anything. Solituding on my turn is the same as solituding on theirs. It's not a big deal. I could also just wait. But if I don't wait, then I'm going to Solitude pitching Council's Judgment right now. This just lets me draw Aether Vial if I spike here. And Flicker Wisp. Alright, it's fine. Opponent's got 1 card plus a draw step. They would need to draw a land or Smasher to turn 2 Smasher. Did they keep a hand that double Thought Knots? Is that what's going on? Did, okay. Well, I'll let this resolve because Stoneforge tangles on rate with Thought Knot Seer, and Solitude Flicker Wisp answers it. So one way or the other, this thing's covered. So me pitch casting 2 Solitudes to keep up with their 2 Chrome Moxen, we are now kind of back on hard parity. I actually should have Solituded first last turn before even my land drop, because if I draw Wasteland, then they're just not playing the game. I didn't, so not punished, but that was slightly more optimal. Oh, and I just made my land before playing my removal spell again. I mean, port does mostly the same thing, but that would have been slightly better. Okay, I'm going to start porting their 1-card hand. I can flicker one of their Chrome Moxen next turn. Alright, let's hope they just slow down a little bit. Cards we know they have include Dauthi Voidwalker, like in their deck. That could be annoying here. They know about Field of Ruin in my hand, and not any of the other cards. Flickering a Chrome Mox here could be Strip Mine, or it could be Raven's Crime. And I think I'm okay with both of those outcomes. I am going to go for the Flicker. Once again, I want to be pushing damage. My opponent's at 28. Like, I want to be pushing damage before I settle into my Rishadan Port poke and squeeze. Alright, Chrome Mox is back. Do you want to exile? Did pitch a Black Market Connections. It's like I didn't do anything. That means they either didn't have another black card in their hand, or they had a better one. And it looks like they didn't have another one. I can attack for 3. Field of Ruin is risky. If their last card in hand is Oppo, I've just walked into something. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to port them instead. My plan was to field and port, but walking into Oppo, when I could port them, and if they miss their land drop, I could play around it. That's just way better. Voidwalker, I'm now ready for that. I've bought enough time to have a response. I Ganjo. And this is why I wanted to invest in the Flicker Wisp. I'm just taking big 3-point chunks out of their life total, rather than them sitting comfortably at 28 under no pressure. Seize J, get rid of the Dauthi. Port the Temple. Stoneforge Mystic, hello. Okay. They would need to have Dark Ritual Oppo to chew this up here. If I field first, I could suss out Dark Ritual, but then they would have 3 mana if they don't have Dark Ritual. I'm just going for Stoneforge. We're in business. I think I just want Kaldra to start winning the game effective immediately. And they didn't Oppo that, so I don't think they have Oppo. I'm going to start messing up their lands. They get a swamp, but I can port that, and now Eldrazi are even less castable than they were before. 4 cards in hand. Just gotta hope they're all 4-drops. Griefing my Kaldra, Necessary, Pain, pitching Black Market Connections. Yeah, so these ports have kept them off their engine this whole game by exactly 1 mana. Kaldra's gone, but I still have 4 in play. And then next turn, Yorion gets to work. I'll play my Plains. I haven't seen a Raven's Crime out of them. I could have played around Liliana, which is a card that could conceivably be in their deck, by not playing my land. But then I'm playing into Hinventurok, also a card I haven't seen, but a card I don't want to play against, or I don't want to get 2-for-1 buy. Tech. A. Okay, I can decline Stoneforge, so even if they have strung together a Dark Ritual Oppo here, I'm not going to just die to it. Big Yorion. Flicker a Chrome Mox, tutor another thing, port them again. This game is looking pretty good. And I do think flickering Chrome Mox is better than flickering a land and getting Aether Vial into play this turn. It's B Skull. Flicker, Chrome Mox. This won't even come back until their end step, whether they want to pitch to it or not. And we got the scoop. A tough start to the league, but rallied the back end. 3-0 run to end up with a positive record. I only did a little bit of research before starting this league because I wanted to play Shane's deck that old Gracie sent me and not, just whatever. Because this was specifically the Shane Memorial D&T list. I think Containment Priest kind of sucks in the main deck. I've seen cards like Extraction Specialist getting played as a fun of, and this Priest stepped on my own deck in a big way once, and then didn't do anything against any opponent. So there's probably some maneuvering to do in the sideboard and the flex slots, but I mean, this is Yorion Death and Taxes. This is what it looks like. We got some good squeeze games. We got some... Even the games we lost were kind of interesting because that 8-cast match, I had like 3 of their 4 avenues covered. They just found the 4th one with Kappa Cannoneer. But you could conceivably see how even a deck with so many resources could still just fail to function under the layers of Hate Bears and Death and Taxes. All jokes aside, this is a deck that I respect in the metagame. You need a plan for it. You need to know how to play against it, especially if you like big blue control decks like me, because as we saw in that Jeskai matchup, or Miracles matchup, whatever we want to call that one, or Rashadan boards is a friggin' beating. You do need a plan for that and how you're going to beat this deck. There were a couple moments where I was like, what would a Death and Taxes Master do here? There were like 2 mulligan decisions that I'm not sure about, and then there was 1 or 2 play decisions that I wasn't really sure about, but overall I felt like this league rolled out pretty smoothly. I didn't feel like I was completely stumped by anything, and I think most of my decisions were in... Basically, all of my decision points were, how do I give my opponent fewer options this turn, and how do I add damage to the board? Basically in that order. And we're rewarded with a positive record for our efforts. Old Greasy, thank you for sharing this deck with me. I'm looking forward to working with you on your legacy journey. Shane, thank you for your previous support of the channel. I don't know how far gone you are from Magic, if you even click anymore. If you're watching this video, thank you for the engagement. And of course, everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.